Hey guys, today's video is going to be my bookshelf tour. So if you guys remember in a previous video, I mentioned that I was going to rearrange my bookshelf so that way all of my TBR books are together and all of my read books are together, and I finally did that, so let's just get into it. So first I'm going to start with my dresser, which as of right now is a TBR shelf, but I have a feeling in the future once I get some of these books off of my TBR, it will become a favorite shelf. So the first thing you see is my very colorful TBR jar. And then I have Whatever Happened to Janie and The Face on the Milk Carton by Caroline B. Cooney. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. Stiff, The Curious Lives of the Human Cadaver by Mary Roach. The Psychology Book by Wade E. Pickren. The Harry Potter Creature Vaults. Divergent by Veronica Roth. An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Where Things Come Back by John Corey Whaley. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Cinder, Scarlet, and Cress by Marissa Meyer. The Fifth Wave and the Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. And behind that stack of books, I have Harry a History by Melissa Anelli. And Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. The next shelf is one of two TBR shelves. So first, right here, I have one of the books that I'm currently reading. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. My Kobo. Less Than Zero by Bret Easton Ellis. The Hours by Michael Cunningham. Look Again by Lisa Scotland. The Other Typist by Susan Rendell. Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. Choke. Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. City of Dark Magic by Magnus Flight. May We Be Forgiven by A.M. Holmes. The Tales of Beetle and the Bard by J.K. Rowling. I have no idea why I haven't read this yet. The Psychopath Test, A Journey Through the Madness Industry by John Ronson. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The Complete Fairy Tales of the Brothers Grimm. 21 Pilots album. It's not a book, but it's on the shelf. The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell. The Land of Stories, The Enchantress Returns. And The Land of Stories, A Grim Warning, all by Chris Colfer. This book is full of spiders. And John Dies at the End, both by David Wong. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. The Gemini Virus by Will Mara. A Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast of Crows, and A Dance with Dragons, all by George R.R. Martin. Wild by Cheryl Strayed. Seriously I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres. The Nerdist Way by Chris Hardwick. In the Woods and the Likeness by Tina French. Struck by Lightning by Chris Colfer. Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man by Tim Allen. Neil Patrick Harris's Choose Your Own Autobiography. Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Peak by Roland Smith. Dead End Dating and Dead and Dateless, both by Kimberly Rye. Sundays at Tiffany's by James Patterson. Dr. Franklin's Island by Anne Hallam. Stephen King's The Shining. Don't ask why I haven't read this yet. Sybil by Flora Rita Schreiber. I've read most of this book, and I've watched the movie, and I've obviously studied Sybil a lot. I just haven't read this book completely, so that's why that's on the TBR. The Pact by Jodi Picoult. Psych, Mind-Altering Murder. Psych, A Fatal Frame of Mind. And Psych, The Call of the Mind, all by William Rabkin. Nightlight, A Parody by the Harvard Lampoon. Maybe by Brent Newton. Small Steps by Louis Schar. Don't Blink by James Patterson and Howard Rahn. Darkly Dreaming Dexter by Jeff Lindsay. Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen. This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. and Dreamland by Sarah Dessen, Forever by Judy Blume, P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Aaron, Cracked by Kate M. Walton, The Kill Order by James Dashner, Still Alice by Lisa Genova, The Silent Wife by A.S.A. Harrison, Get Me Out of Here, My Recovery from Borderline Personality Disorder by Rachel Rayland, City of Bones and City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, Musicophilia, Tales of Music in the Brain by Oliver Sacks, Rail C by China Melville, Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, Horns by Joe Hill, The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, which sadly I just haven't been able to get into, You've Been Warned by James Patterson, Under the Dome by Stephen King, The Walking Dead, Book 1. As you can see, I have a lot of books on my TBR, so Project TBR and hashtag 0x16 are in full effect. Hopefully I can make one of those, at least one of those bookshelves, a red shelf to go with the top red shelf. So we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!